Oh, excuse me. What's up, everybody in the chat? Please bear with us. We found some tribbles in the
Whoa, you can't say that.
in the lower decks. Sorry, wrong franchise, right? That's how bad it
You
is.
should probably go to the doctor for that if you got tribbles in your lower decks.
Have that checked out. Hey, how is everybody? Look at this group of guys here, man. What's up?
What's up?
Good to see you all. I had a little trouble there starting her up, but as I was telling Sean, I think it's time for a new laptop one of these days. But how is everybody?
This is what we get for doing these things on Thursdays.
Yeah, right. That's okay. That's okay. We got a lot of people in the chat. Just want to say hello to everybody. Charles, Amanda, thanks for joining us. Backyard TARDIS, Nick Schaefer. Who else is in there? Mr. Rez, how's it going? Thank you, everyone, for being patient and checking us out. We're going to be talking about some cool stuff, man. There is a lot of really nerdy stuff that we're all part of, and we are going to be talking about that. But Brad, I just want to say hello to you, my friend. Brad number one, my Brad. I guess we got two Brads in the panel today. How is the second Brad coming along here?
Wait, you're talking to me, and then you just completely turned it over to him.
Just wanted to see if you guys are paying attention.
Okay, I'll just drink.
Well, it's a lovely Thursday. It's 2020. What else do you want, right?
Okay.
Hey, we got some news. You guys see that thing about Cara Dune maybe getting her own spinoff show?
I think I saw something about that.
Yeah.
I mean, according to the internet, every character. I think Akbar's got a show coming soon.
I posted on my personal that I'm getting a Star Wars Disney Plus series. So
can't wait to watch that. Oh my god!
Yeah, right.
I know.
And it's starring the sequel trilogy time period. Is that right?
No.
It's going to be you and your display drivers. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, right. Rated PG-13.
It says buffering.
Yes. I can't see the last two letters, so on my end it just says buff. So welcome to Scarif Live. Now that we're up and running, everybody, welcome to Scarif Live. We're going to be talking about some stuff, huh?
Rose, like, what are we talking about tonight? I think we're going to talk about some. You were invited, Ro. I sent you the show notes. All right, so feel free to reference your notes. We're going to be talking about Star Wars Squadrons and Star Wars video games in general. Specifically, though, the Starfighter types and our history with those, and then we'll get into some Star Wars Squadrons itself. See how you guys are liking that. But let's talk about our history first with this type of video game. Sean, what was the first Starfighter game you remember playing of the Star Wars variety?
Okay, I've got a really good story. I actually took your notes and I put it into a cool program called Notepad. And then I wrote stuff underneath of it to answer these questions like a good boy. Like a good boy. So hi, everybody. Sean from MRC Tech here. Great to see everybody live in chat right now. I got chat over here, so if I get distracted, that's what I'm reading. It's good to see everybody. Brad, Ro, thanks for inviting me on here. This is great. My kids are in bed. Life is good right now. They don't do anything different. Don't tip the scales right now. I don't need it in my life. My story with Starfighters. I remember it's a great story. It was like Christmas time. My mother had the gifts hidden. We knew where it was. It's not a thing. And I carefully unwrapped my N64 Rogue Squadron game. Carefully, like with an X-Acto knife, and took it apart and opened it and played it for like 2 hours and then put it back together. And of course she knew, but she didn't tell me until like the day after and said, well, you can't have this for today because I know you opened it. But that's my first foray into starfighting game is Rogue Squadron, which was, I think a third person over the shoulder view of that game. And it was just, I remember playing that game so much. Had a lot of fun with that game.
I'm pretty sure that one still holds up. How old were you again that you had an X-Acto knife at your disposal?
Well, at least 60. I would say, N64, I was 96, so that puts me at the ripe old age of 10, something like that, 10, 11.
You young whippersnappers.
Young whippersnapper indeed. Old soul.
Yeah. Rogue Squadron is a classic. How about you, Brad? What was your first Starfighter game?
I remember before I was old enough to really get playing the N64, my dad had actually found me it's like one of the original plug and plays. It had like this little, it was like for kids my age, but it was like a little set, and it was like the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. And you loaded the program up into the computer, and you basically flew missions with the Millennium Falcon, and you just push down you push down on the chairs to like change directions, or you had like the turret, that chair that you can push down and shoot at the TIE fighters, stuff like that. But after that, it would have to have been Rogue Squadron.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it looks like we got Red 5 himself in the chat. So thank you, Master Luke, for coming out and spending some time with us. So, Ro, Atari, ColecoVision, which was your first Starfighter game?
Star Wars Pong.
Trench Run, man. Remember Trench Run? I don't
remember. No, you know what? I think the earliest game that I remember for Star Wars was the Atari 2600, The Empire Strikes Back, where the AT-AT was just like 7 pixels, and it was just kind of like going around from one side of the screen to the other. But it was such a it's such a memorable game for me at that age that because it was Star Wars related, I'm like, oh, this is like really cool. And you had the little, little snow speeder, up front. I can't remember like what you had to do or what it even looked like, but that image is stuck in my mind of that landscape, that Atari image. That's the only thing really that I remember fondly, I guess. I was, Brad, I was telling you about, I was never really good at first, I guess, what do you call them? First shooters?
First person
shooters. Especially spaceship or simulator kind of stuff. It's going to take me a while to kind of master a lot of things. And but yeah, earliest memory is Atari 2600, Empire Strikes Back. Those were the first games that I played.
Yeah, I actually did play Trench Run, and I played it on ColecoVision. If those in the chat have no idea what that is, but well, do some research because it's a classic. The controller looked like an old phone, but it was cool because that game looked like his targeting computer on episode 4, and you just went down the trench and blew it up. I can't remember if that was. I think that may have been the extent of the game. No, there were some asteroids I think you had to blow up and stuff like that, but it was pretty fun.
Is that the one? Is that the one that Matt Vader's talking about with the towers and the Trench Run? I think the Star Wars.
Yeah, I think it might be. Yeah, because there was a couple different aspects to it. I was probably 5 though when I played the ColecoVision, so yeah, that could be it. But the ColecoVision had a wheel on the controller, so that's actually how you would turn. But yeah, that's probably it.
And I do remember the stand-up arcade game, but there was another version that was so sweet. It had speakers like right here that you actually climbed into. I spent so many quarters at the local drugstore with that game. You walked in, and it was the Trench Run. It had little towers that you had to shoot the cannons off of it, and I think it had the X-wing, things like right here where you had the X.
Yep. I think that is the one.
Yeah, I played that. That was a difficult game. I remember that just being the sensitivity and the control, the flight stick, and it's nasty and it's in an arcade, and you didn't care because there was no such thing as diseases back then, and it was such a great time.
Yeah.
The time before diseases.
Yes.
Yeah. Amanda mentioned Galactic Battlegrounds. That is a classic, and I think that still holds up. I would be glad to go back and play that right now for sure. Galactic Battlegrounds, Empire at War, all those kinds of games like that.
I actually do have that on my computer.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are your
So
thoughts? Were you
what-
guys more console game players or PC? Because I've actually never played a game on a PC. It's always been consoles or handheld devices.
I mean, in my early life, because it was never my PC, it was my dad's. So I was always on the consoles. Eventually, when I actually owned my own computer, I built the one I'm using now. But when I actually was able to have my own computer, I mean, I immediately switched over. Honestly, for me, it just depends on the type of game at this point.
Yeah. I was 64, GameCube, PlayStation 2 Slim, after it was out for 4 years.
Yeah.
And then built my first PC in 08, then built my second one in 2019 because that baby ran for me for 10 years. Still running, still great. And then the one I'm using right now is just a rock star. It's it eats up squadrons like you wouldn't believe. But I'm a Switch console, and I stream it out to the computer with the game capture. But these next gen consoles, they've got my attention. Solid state drives, loading times, game libraries. They're going to be good, and it's a sweet, sweet price point. Of $500 is not a bad cost for the tech that's inside these things. Highly recommend.
Not at all.
Yeah,
And I bet you their display drivers are so sexy.
they're so good. They display an 800 by 600. It's pretty.
There's just something about Ro saying display drivers that's just awesome.
I would definitely display his driver. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
But,
Did anybody ever play? Shadows of the Empire?
Oh yeah,
on N64. I'm remember the Hoth mission.
Yes,
was so memorable.
Still the best Hoth. Still the best Hoth. If you ask me.
Unbelievably difficult because of the perspective. Hit the legs 100 times before you got it right. It was great.
Honestly, I would have to say I was young enough when I played Squadrons when I played Shadow of the Empire. The Wampas in that level freaked me out. The Wampas always freaked me out. I did not want to mess with the Wampas.
For sure.
I love the music. I love the music in that game too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. That was great though, because it was a project that they did. There was the video game, but there was also the novelization and the comic book adaptations. So they kind of went all out on that one. And sorry to see Dash and Prince Shizor go out of canon for a while there, but
right.
They'll be back. Disney Plus needs a spinoff.
Yeah. The Outrider did make it into the special edition of episode 4, so that was pretty cool when that happened. Yeah, the Wampas. It was a pain in the ass getting around that Hoth base too, but that game was worth it. What have been some of your favorite of the Star Wars games up until this point? Specifically, Starfighter, unless it's another game, but what were some of your favorite Starfighter games?
I always hear good thing about TIE Fighter, the old TIE Fighter game.
I actually missed TIE Fighter.
Yeah, followed up by X-Wing. I think X-Wing had one too.
Yeah, you had X-Wing, you had TIE Fighter, then you had X-Wing versus TIE Fighter.
Yeah.
And they were all good. And that's one of the things I was going to mention about Squadrons is if you remember those games, it actually does have that feel to it. As far as doing, especially the story mode on Squadrons, where you're doing escort missions or you're taking out, shipyards and that sort of thing. It really does have that feel where you're jumping, because that whole thing was from the cockpit too. It had a story mode, but then you would jump in the cockpit and do the thing. So it really has that feel, and that must have been what they were going for, because they did a pretty good job on that.
So let me ask you this, guys. We are talking about the progression of technology in games. We mentioned the what was it, like 8-bit or 16-bit images in the Atari 2600, and now we're enjoying a game like Squadrons with virtual reality headsets. Brad, you've got the PlayStation VR, and how amazing is that to be able to live through all of this technology? I mean, I can't imagine what kids today or our kids are going to be looking into as far as gaming technology, but How amazing is that?
Well, I'll tell you what. The game looks good. I'm not. I bought the VR for my son for his birthday, and I hadn't used it much. Squadrons look good, but they're like, he was like, "Hey, let's try out the VR on it," and I could not believe it. Like I don't know. I'm not up to date,
Yeah.
I guess, with all the technology. But like when you put that on and you're talking to somebody in the hangar bay, you literally feel like you're in the Star Wars universe, talking to somebody right in front of you. The way they do the 3D imaging on there and the sounds where it's all around the surround. Oh my God! Like,
Yeah.
and I'm sure we're just at the beginning of this technology, but you are literally immersed into the Star Wars universe when you put on that VR headset. And same thing when you get in the cockpit too, which is a little. I'll be honest with you, my stomach turned. There was a mission in the story mode where you're taking out. I think you're taking out a broadcast station or listening station, but you have to turn sideways and bomb it. And I had to keep going back and forth on that, and my stomach was turning because of how real that felt. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna have to take off this VR here for a second."
Yeah.
It's crazy how real it is.
Yeah. So I have the Oculus Rift S, and I've played Vader Immortal. Great series, $10 a piece. Couldn't highly recommend it. Pop this on. I didn't have it quite. I kind of just popped it on and was hoping that right out of the box it'd be fine. I have to tweak a little bit of settings, but from what I saw, just in the practice mode, just kind of getting used to it. I mean, when I stared down the nose of the X-wing and I sat up, and you could be like, "Holy moly!" There's a lot of things going on. When I'm playing without it, you have tunnel vision. You can with your right stick like move your head around, but you don't have much time to process in this game. But in VR, I could look over my shoulder and see somebody tailing me, and that's crazy. That 100% crazy to see that. Now, if I can just get my system to cooperate, I'd play that more. Definitely get the not motion sickness, but you're sitting, but you're moving at the same time. It's kind of a wild sensation, and the stars flying by your face. That's a really cool, like graphical quality of the squadrons. I feel like I'd be a better shooter if I could just see where the guy went behind me instead of trying to, everybody's down the front end of your X-wing or TIE fighter. But I love the VR. I mean, I just need some time to get it all right. But PSVR is probably really good out of the box. The Oculus Rift takes a little bit of time to orient. I think I got too much stuff here. So I think it was bouncing off too much stuff, and I have to kind of back myself away from the system here. But what about you, Brad? Do you have a VR set?
I actually do not.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't really invested in one for that. I've never really looked at VR sets, honestly.
Yeah. It's kind of a useless tech, to be honest with you. We bought 10 for our school, the school I work at, for like educational apps and whatever. So I was like in it to win it. I had to learn everything about it, how to orient, do the whole thing. And it's cool if you have it, but it's like it's not there yet. Maybe in the next iteration, the next gen, where there's less wires, less things to really have to set up. The commoner like Ro is not going to set up a headset on a normal computer. It's just not happening. But like the Quest 2 coming out from Facebook and Oculus, that's promising tech. Everything's built in. It's one thing. The only thing you need is a Facebook account, which is kind of crappy, but there's a lot of cool things happening.
I do have I've got one of the Oculus. I can't remember the Oculus Rift, and it's tied to my son's computer because he's got a gaming laptop. And the first time I plugged it in and we downloaded Vader Immortal, it was phenomenal. It was pretty.
It's unbelievable.
It was a pretty excruciatingly lovely experience if I have to describe it that way. I mean, the first time that Vader walks up to you, you're like, holy crapola. And you're sitting there looking at him and you're doing this and you're trying to reach out for him and he's like right there. But my son has a ceiling fan above in his room, and I'm sitting right there. There's a part in the game where you're on this skiff. You arrive to the planet, and the skiff kind of just like goes over this valley. So I'm in this valley, and I'm feeling the wind of the ceiling fan above me, and it's almost like an additional dimension of the game because you're moving, and you've got wind, blowing through your hair or whatever. and it just feels amazing. And then once you land, it's like you can't help but just to kind of just sit there and look around because
Oh, yeah.
you know it's so sensitive to that, and
Mhm.
I love it. And like I said, I mean, just facing Vader, when he's right in front of you, you're like in awe.
Yeah,
For sure.
but like Luke was saying in the chat there, just sitting in the cockpit, like
Mhm.
I, my son was laughing at me because I'm reaching my hands out physically because like you feel like you should be able to see your hands touching the instrumentation and everything in the cockpit. It is just that real. Like Sean was saying, you can look behind you and look at what people are doing in the hangar bay. They're loading missiles and stuff like that in the hangar bay.
Mhm.
But you just want to touch everything in the cockpit with the VR. So no matter whether you're in a combat sequence or just sitting there, it's ridiculously realistic.
Yeah.
Well, even without the VR headset, I mean, the moment I
Yeah.
saw in the game where you could actually, like, when you're in the hangar, you can just go ahead and sit in the cockpit without
Yeah.
launching a mission or anything. I just immediately did that, and I looked at everything because, I mean, just they actually let you use the joystick even without VR to like look around at everything, and I loved it.
Sure.
Well, it's not in the show notes, but while we're on the topic of the cockpit, what kind of swag have you guys got so far for your fighters?
Ooh, swaggy. For me, a couple paint schemes. I think I have like a hologram, like one of the holograms. I forget what I have, whoever it is, but I like banking all the points and then getting the epic ones immediately and then working my way backwards just because I want to be that way. Also, I think it's going to be a distraction because I want to be like, what is that? Oh, it's just my toy over there. But I like the
Ewok.
Yeah, it's a damn Ewok. I love the customizations. I mean, it's skins, it's I don't know. It's cool, and what I like about it is it's not a microtransaction game. You don't have to pay to get this stuff. You actually have to fly, and you got to get experience points, and you got to play the game long to get those. I don't know what they call them, like whatever the points system is.
The glory.
Yeah, the glory, and I love that because it's making me have to play the game instead of just like $99. Bang! Now I have everything, and they made their money too. So I like their style. I like what they're doing with it. They have a good philosophy in this game.
Yeah, and that's definitely hard to come by these days.
Yeah, and they didn't make it too hard to level up. I mean, it's enough of a challenge. You have to do a few different, you have to do a few fleet missions, but it's not too hard to level up, and you get a good amount of glory each time you level up, and it's more as you get higher. I just maxed out on the, I don't know what they're called, the credit chips or whatever for the ship systems. So I can't get any more of those. That's pretty nice.
Cool.
So now it's all for the glory at this point.
Nice.
But
So Amanda mentioned something about the price. Are you guys satisfied with the type of game and the price that it is positioned at?
I mean,
Is it
it's $40 across the board, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no matter what I've been real satisfied with how much you get for the price that you pay. I mean, I've gotten the same amount out of a game and I've paid 60 before. And I mean, it's burned a little bit, but this one for 40, yeah, no, this is perfect.
It's great value for this game. Campaign, you don't buy this game for the campaign. You buy this game for the multiplayer. The campaign's a bonus, in my opinion. Yeah. And I thought it was going to be a $60 price tag, and I was like, oh, well, another $60 game, whatever. And then I was like, $40? Are they crazy, or what is happening? I mean, Motive, the game developer, also developed Battlefront 2's story. So, like, they're ingrained into this system. So they know what Star Wars fans want. And, I'm not too far into the story right now, like Mission 3 or whatever. I kind of just jumped into multiplayer and just kind of did that and tried to learn as I went along. Don't do that, by the way. You should really practice before playing this game. Yeah. But the mission, I mean, the storyline, 6 set. We're just talking in the chat. Maybe 8 hours if you're inexperienced. Maybe 4 if you're really good. I do find it to be a little slow paced getting into these missions, though. Do you feel that in this game?
It is, yeah. To me, I mean, I'll give this story probably about a 5 or a 6 out of 10. Mm-hmm. I think it's like you said, kind of a necessary evil to learn the controls. I think a better way to do it. I mean, yeah, do the story because it's canon. It's a video game that's coming out now, so it is canon. It does count. it actually gets mentioned, or some of these characters get mentioned in the Alphabet Squadron book that came out this year.
Cool.
So there's some tie-in there. But I think if you do the fleet AI mission, right, not against real people, just do the fleet AI. I think that's, if you just want to learn the controls and learn what you can do with each class, I think the fleet AI is probably the way to go. The story, I had a hard time getting through it. I just, like you said, I just wanted to get back to multiplayer.
Yeah.
And play that, but I was able to push through. I think it ends up being like 12 or 13 chapters on there. So, but yeah, it's not. I mean, like you said, I think the hours that you put to it are pretty correct.
Yeah. I see Amanda and Luke talking about all the different Star Wars games that have come and gone over the years, and some good ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there's so much history in those. Dark Forces was mentioned earlier. Jedi Academy,
Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, I mean those stories. I actually have a Revan Funko Pop coming tomorrow, and I can't wait for that thing.
Oh.
And I was like, Prime Day, I had to go on there and see what was on there. I don't think it was even Prime, but I had to get it anyway. But Fallen Order. So the only thing I've heard them mention, we'll get back to Squadrons here in a second, is possibly another Battlefront game coming out in a couple of years.
I really love that first one.
You have to be more specific. Which first Battlefront?
I guess all of them. The last one. And again, I'm not a big gamer. Like I was telling you, Brad, in a previous episode, I'm still playing the very old Need for Speed racing game because I'm very addicted to those. It's just one of those mindless, I just kind of want to unwind games that, I've done all the racing. I've updated all my vehicles, but it's just fun just to kind of, get into that world and just drive around and antagonize police officers, I guess, and other racers. So...
I mean, and that happens. I mean, for me, Battlefront 2 for the PlayStation 2 is pinnacle Battlefront. Like they came with the remakes, and I was kind of disappointed with them, and then especially for number 2 with all the microtransactions. But I mean, it's what they give us.
I thought the storyline for Battlefront 2 was really good.
Yes,
Sean, don't get me started on that.
Listen, I don't care. I thought it was good.
It was good, but it could have been great if they had started it 2 years prior and you got to be the Empire for more than 45 minutes.
Well, that is true. I would have loved to have more like Imperial backing on that. I agree with that for sure. But just from start to finish, I mean, the way they brought it all together and, again, mixing the canon into the video game. And then we see the compass in The Last Jedi, just like it was like so cool to have those little tidbits that not a lot of people know about when they casually watch the movies. But I was like, ooh, I did that, which is in the theater. I made noises. Ooh. And, for me, I didn't really play the multiplayer for Battlefront 2. I don't see the appeal. It's kind of not my game. You can switch between third person and first person, and oh my God, there's all these abilities and things and buttons to remember. Not my game, but I appreciate what it is. I've watched people playing. It's like, I don't know how you can slay with BB-8, but people do. Unbelievable.
I was about to kind of give it a hard time. I mean, I love playing BB-8, but the fact that they made BB-8 one of the most powerful heroes on there, it's a little bit broken. But Luke always posts those cutscenes that you're referring to.
Yeah.
On Twitter, and I'll tell you what, of all the Disney sequel content, that is probably the best sequel content that Disney has made, because they absolutely nailed Luke's character in those on Pilio, I think the planet was on. Yep. They absolutely nailed his character, and after that.
That was a good mission. I enjoyed that. Just the banter between him and I forget. I always forget names. And the Imperial officer, and that was really cool. Really enjoyed that.
You like killing 150 bugs.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, unbelievable content. People sat around a table and thought about that, and they approved it, which is pretty cool.
Dell.
Dell, right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I used to work pest control, so that's just another day in the life.
So, Ro, you were mentioning that you're not that good at this type of game, but I think it's Squadrons is cool in that there's sort of something for everybody. I've never had the best aim with these first-person shooters, especially the ones that are the space combat, but they've adapted that. And what's great is this is a team game, and so everybody has a role to play. A lot of the times, not very well, but we'll talk about the team aspect here in a minute, but I want to talk about the classes of ships. Do you guys have a favorite class of ship yet? They like playing on there?
I personally, I would say I like flying in the A-wings. There's just something about the speed and maneuverability and some of the different weapons and armaments you can put on that thing that just makes it a lot of fun. Like I think, I do the rapid cannons and then the mines you can drop. I forget what they're called.
Yep, the seeker mines.
Yes, seeker mines, and I just fly around killing whoever's in front of me, and just every time I get the chance, drop a seeker mine.
Yeah, I like the A-wing. I've been loaded out with like a shorter laser, so I think it's like 700 range, but really powerful up close. More maneuverability, speed. I kind of enjoy that. I like chasing people down, But then you expect you're going to die a lot, just because you don't have that much hull. X-wing 2, just it depends. It all depends. It's what I'm feeling, and it depends on the challenges. If I'm have to work on A-wing things, I'm going to work on A-wing things, and if I have to work on X-wing things, I'll work on X-wing things. So I'll kind of try all the ships, but like the support ships, I'm lost. I don't know what to do as a support ship at all, because I'd rather be in the action, and like support, you sort of have to be on the outskirts of everything. And I know Brad, we were talking about how you're an excellent support person.
Yeah, I like it. And I looked at the poll. I think EA did it. I'm not sure who put it out, but only like 6% of people like playing support right now. And it's fun, and because there's support is definitely not for everybody. Probably won't be for most, but there are multiple different loadouts that you can do. There's an offensive package, there's a defensive package you can run on those. So when we're on offense, I'll go into medic mode, and I'll do the resupply on one of my supports and the shields on the other armament, and I'll keep us forward deployed so we can keep attacking the frigates or their ship, whatever that is. But then I have a defensive package too, so when we come back and we're defending ours, I'll switch it over to the turret mines, which is kind of not as fun as the seeker mine. It's crazy how effective that seeker mine is. I've gotten so many kills off that thing. It's not even funny. I hope they don't nerf it at all. But I'll use the turret mine, and I'll use the targeting beacons on there, and it'll ping all the enemy guys, and it'll make it so they're more vulnerable to our attack.
Sure.
And then you get the kill assist from it. But yeah, it's definitely a different play mode. You're not in it. It's a 180 out from what you're doing in the A-wing.
Right. For sure.
I like to see what that guy's doing, see what the A-wing's doing, and as he's flying by me, I'll drop a shield on him and let him go do his thing. I'll always shield and heal up either the interceptor or the A-wing first, because I know they're lowest on hull and obviously no shields.
I still find great success with the supports. I've never had a bad game as a support, honestly.
Yep, they can. They will now. They only. I had a team with 3 supports out of 5.
Oh wow, no!
Don't do that.
Oh, there's.
We didn't die, but we didn't kill anything.
Yeah, no, that's no way. I would say, honestly, my role has always been 1 support for every 5 craft.
Can you name all members of Rogue Squadron? Oh, God.
I got it. I have it. It's Rogue 1, Rogue 2, Rogue 3, Rogue 4, Rogue 5. Game over. Next.
Nice. Which Rogue Squadron are we referring to? Are we referring to
Nailed it.
Doesn't matter which one, because I can't name them all anyway.
Wedge. Obviously, Luke.
Dak.
Clivia,
Or Dak.
Dash
Hobby.
Rendar. Dash Rendar.
Wes Jansen.
Hobby's great.
Yeah.
That's a good pull, Amanda. Well done there.
Yeah. Dopey, Sleepy Maverick, Iceman. Yeah. There you go.
I'm trying to think, honestly.
And Luke.
Yeah, you'll get nothing from me. I don't dive deep into that trivia.
Yeah, unless you're talking about the Stackpole books, and then we got a bunch of other characters too. But Ro, if for a guy like you, there's different types of cannons and stuff that you can get on there too. You do have the auto aim cannon, so as long as you're in the ballpark, you're going to hit the guy. You're not going to do as much damage as if you had a straightforward laser. But
I tried the auto cannon in the story mode, and I immediately got off that. I did not like that at all.
It is just a tip on that. As long as you divert all power to your cannon, then you can actually use it to kill. I'll do that with my bomber class.
Mm-hmm.
I'll divert I'll normally keep it on shields on the rebel side, but then just divert all power to your guns, and you can take them out. So it still takes a little time though. So
yeah, there's still a little bit of rehearsal you got to do to remember, shield up or power up or speed up. I know I'm good with the speed up and get the hell out of there as fast as I can, because I am getting tailed like you wouldn't believe. So I like, getting out of dodge, hitting that boost, and then just trying to stay alive so you're not a kill for the other team, to be honest with you. That's what I try to get out.
Oh yeah. And that's your other job as the support. I just got I had 20 I was in the U-wing, and I had 27,000 hull damage and about 27,000 shield damage for one round.
Nice.
So you're a laser sponge the entire time, but that's okay.
Yeah.
They're hitting you, not the guys that are attacking the tips and stuff.
Exactly.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
And you actually see people give up on you. Like they'll attack you for about 30 seconds and realize they can't kill you, and they'll give up.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty satisfying.
I know we talked about it in the chat already. What did you guys say regarding the hours of gameplay? It's somewhere
6 or
between
7.
6 or 7,
Yeah.
7 or 8.
Yes. Yeah, 6 to 8, something like that.
Well, one of the things about all these the latest Star Wars games is their story elements, I think, are always really cool. I always look on YouTube just to kind of look at all the cutscenes and put them together into a little movie, and I always enjoy those things. What about you guys?
Oh yeah, like any time I've played a Star Wars game, like I'm the opposite of most people. Like when I got Squadrons, immediately played the story mode. I want to find all of the mentions, all the backstory. When they dropped General Syndulla, just absolutely,
great one.
Oh, I flipped out. And then what else did they? What else are some good?
Don't you spoil any story for me, buddy. I'll tell you that right now.
Hey, I have a question for you about Hera. I was thinking about this today because I'm also listening to the Alphabet Squadron book right now. What do you guys think about her pretty much being the only face of the rebellion higher ups these days? It seems like they've gone away from Riken, Dodonna, and it seems to be Hera running everything. You guys like that? Or would you like to see some of those old OG characters have a little more appearances?
I mean, I would say I still see Akbar pretty frequently in a lot of things.
I mean, they're tying it back to Rebels. I mean, they're trying to make they're bridging that gap as best they can, waiting for Ezra and Thrawn's return, I'm sure, and then Hera will be there, I imagine. I haven't quite gotten into Alphabet Squadron, but I know she's in it, and I was happy to see that she was in this. And time frame wise, I do like the continuity there, even if it's smallish. The first time we saw the Ghost in Rogue One was yes, they're doing stuff, and it's amazing, And now we're getting all these wonderful mini crossovers, and I think it's great. It's great and positive for the Star Wars story.
Well, what is it? I recently saw an article. I think like sometime in 2021 they're planning a release for a like almost like a sequel to Rebels, and it's supposed to follow Ahsoka and Sabine.
Yeah, I just heard that today. I didn't see that much on the internet. Somebody told me about that today. I hadn't seen anything about that, but I'm down.
Mhm.
And yeah, I guess we can't talk about Akbar too much. We're still reeling from Akbar Gate. Couple years later.
What happened with Akbar? I'm just kidding.
It's a crap.
He's still alive and well. He's still alive and well. He's doing good. He's fine. But what if you guys got to make any improvements or expansions, anything like that on Squadrons? What kind of things would you like to see added to that game?
For me, I wrote down notes. I'm going to read them. We got newer maps. Obviously, I'm sure they're going to come out with newer maps. You know, like they have to. That would just make sense. Additional skins would be cool. The ability to change it up even more. Add a ship here or there. Maybe a special ship for maybe special missions, and then they drop the ship out. You know, maybe you can only have 4 at a time, and maybe the A-wing drops and it gets replaced. I mean, who would not love to ride as a B-wing? Like, what are we doing here? Like, I would love to see the B-wing in there. I'd like to see First Order fighters in there of some capacity. You know, maybe some scum ships. I want to see some scum and villainy ships. I want to see a third faction added to this game, and I want it to be bounty hunters, right? I want it to be a weird class where they can just add and subtract any of those ships, Slave 1 to Dash Rendar ship. You know, now, what a game to reintroduce that into canon would be here. You know, I think that would be a great addition to it. That's easy money spent on DLC if they add that to this game. Yeah.
So the Zon Consortium from Empire at War a few years back, adding the whole pirates.
I want to see headhunters in this game.
Yeah.
What are they? Z95 headhunter? Like, give them. I want them in this game. That'd be awesome.
What do you think, Brad?
Well, honestly, I mean, I haven't gotten out of everything. Did they ever? I don't think they ever had a mission where you flew like in Atmo on a planet, did they? Or is it all in? It's all space combat, isn't it?
Oh,
I mean, like thinking back to Rogue Squadron for Nintendo 64, there wasn't a single mission you weren't in Atmo flying through trenches or like over something. You know, give some of that maybe.
Yeah, I wonder if the engine, you know, like, because I know with the new flight simulator game, if you aggressively fly, it will end your flight and say your plane has experienced great difficulty, and then do you want to respawn? I think with atmosphere, you then have gravity, and then you have to really pay attention to how much you're pulling down on the yaw and the yoken and whatever, and like you're ripping wings off, and it's like bang, pilot error. You can't turn that fast here. So I wonder if that would be completely changing the gameplay if you go planet side.
Yeah, maybe.
My son mentioned the possibility of heroes, just like we had in Battlefront 2. Would you guys like to see those added, either ships or the pilots themselves? I guess can't really do the pilots, but having those ships as one of your choices, maybe leveling up to them or some.
That'd be cool.
That way.
I don't know. I think the last thing people need is Poe Dameron's X-wing with the giant booster rocket on the back of it.
Yeah. Which color Poe Dameron X-wing? He had 7.
I believe when it was the beginning of
the black black and orange one.
Yeah, that one.
That'd be a good combo. Even the orange and blue one is a good combo there. But no, I like that. I like the idea of the hero ships. I mean, maybe it's almost like in fleet battles, it's like an AI character, and you can gain enough morale, or maybe you're able to call a hero ship when you're losing so bad that it gets you back into the game. Like you're able to call like Lando Calrissian's Millennium Falcon into the foray, and it just it gives you 25% morale right there because he's just sending one-liners to you through comms.
You just hear him in L3 arguing.
That's it. That's all you need, and morale is boosted immediately.
Yeah, but then the Empire calls in Darth Vader, and the game's just over.
Well, that is true. Yeah, that is true.
Hey, Brad, have you read the Alphabet Squadron books?
I have not.
Okay, so one of the characters, I think it's cool. Actually, she's one of the main characters. She when they go into combat, and by the way, Alexander Freed, who writes these books, he does very good combat scenes. He did the adaptation to the Battlefront game as
Nice.
well, and the Rogue One adaptation. He does very good on combat scenes. But one of the characters in that, when they go into combat, she puts on like punk music or like alternative music from around the galaxy as they're flying, and they all just jam to it as they're blowing up stuff. So I think maybe if you could add your own little soundtrack while you're blowing stuff up, I think that'd be cool. A little tie-in to Alphabet. They already have a few tie-ins to Alphabet Squadron, obviously. I think that'd be another cool one if you could just listen to like Huttese, punk rock and stuff like that while you're blowing up TIE fighters.
That would be awesome.
One of the things that I think they missed the boat on, especially for the VR portion, is to have, this would have been a great VR experience to actually have the VR system in the helmet for this game. I think that would have been amazing.
That would be.
So it's funny you say that, because Brad sent some questions, and one of the questions was like, what do you see in the future of this genre? And like a bundled flight stick with that helmet VR would be the best combination of selling point to market this game. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh, it's only $400? Sign me up for 2.
Sign in.
Thanks.
Exactly.
More or less.
Or an X-wing flight suit with sensors in it, so if you get shot or
that's great.
Gives you a little
It
zap.
can happen.
yeah, it gives you a little zap.
I did the Disney Springs experience VR with the Secrets of the Empire, and they put a tactical vest on you, and you're free roaming with a gun VR and your helmet. And when you would get hit, the rare time the stormtrooper hit you, when you would get hit, your chest would vibrate. So I mean, that's not out of the realm of possibility. It's probably a few years away for consumer, but Ready Player One, we're getting there.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I want to see. That would be awesome.
So, Sean, you sort of mentioned this on Twitter. How do games like this? How do they help with team building, community building, socializing, stuff like that? How do you think this sort of game plays into that?
Well, just through my brief weeks, I've been playing pretty consistently on Fridays and Saturdays, in dogfighting with my buddy Mike. And I haven't played an online game with him ever. And we were just like, we're playing Squadrons. It's happening. And we just been playing for a couple hours. We're not very good, but you team up with 3. Usually it's 2 people playing together and like a rando, and they don't talk at all. And all of a sudden, you're all best friends. For 30 losses or kills, you're all best friends, and you're trying to work together to make this happen. And I remember we were on that map where there's nothing, there's no obstructions. It's wide open territory. And we got raked over the coals 30-2 in like 4.5 minutes. Whatever team was playing against us, they must have had like Discord going, and they were calling out things like 60 degrees right, and then we were just getting lit up. But I just see it. It's like, I don't know if you're buying this game if you're not a Star Wars fan. Like, I don't know what the appeal would be if you're just a casual, this seems like a good flight simulator. Like, just buy Flight Simulator then. It does feel like it was made for the Star Wars community. So, like, I'm looking forward, and I know we've trying to get Connect in the Red 5 family to get like a squadron together, but I'm looking for that. Would never have happened before for me unless this game came out. So I love that we're going to be able to connect soon, and get some live action on Twitch and watch the hilarity ensue. Because I can't wait to get yelled at by Brad for being so bad. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome.
Hey, when are we making this happen? We got to make this. You're getting me excited over here. When are we making?
We got to make it happen soon.
I was actually going to say, we can like trade off on usernames and stuff like that. We can get this going.
Absolutely. I'm
100%. And one of the best things about this one is it's cross-platform. So before, Battlefront was not, but here, as long as you can find them, I think using their EA name or whatever, play one on whatever platform you're on. But yeah, Brad, what do you think? You seen the same sort of thing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and even then, like, I can honestly say I like cross-platform playability is something new. Even, we talk about it, and it's once cross-platform became a thing. most games actually turned into this, especially multiplayer games, where it's a matter of, in most games these days rely on online multiplayer where you communicate with each other to some degree. You've got I know like two of the biggest games right now, like Among Us, they completely rely on communicating with each other, but the cross-platforming has really helped that out a lot, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you can definitely see the teams that do or do not communicate on there.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sean was saying, you just get routed.
Oh yeah.
And if you want to learn how to do that, go on YouTube and look at just type in Star Wars Squadrons gameplay on YouTube, and there is hilarity, as you guys were saying, with that as well, with some of these guys, and I think that would be with us as well. But they're literally calling it out. I mean, they're being funny as they're doing it. They'll get British accents from time to time out of nowhere, and you've got the tail on
Sounds
you.
imperial.
Yeah, and just horrible imperial accents. But at the same time, they're destroying the other team while they're doing it.
Yeah.
You've picked up a tail, and they'll just take them out.
We were playing against a team, and the guy's name, it was just Larry. That's it. There was nothing special about it. So I'm like, hey, everybody, we're on Larry. Ping this dude. He's done. He doesn't get to have first names here. The Larry's gone. He died like 15 times. Oh, I felt bad for this guy. He just had a bad round, and we were just tagging him over and over again because of his name. But it was just like, who's on Larry? Who's on butt farts? All right, that's me. I'm on butt farts now. Come after me. Let's go.
Butt farts going high. Butt farts going high. Yeah.
It's funny, man. It's great.
You guys were talking about
great function on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You guys were talking about team building and collaboration with these games, and it's something that I notice a lot with even some of the games for kids. I mean, you talk about the Star Wars Lego games are amazing. Ooh. I love those. When my son was a little younger, we have all of the Star Wars Lego games, and then when they started doing the multiplayer ones, I mean, you have to work together with your teammates to get the jewels or to build the whatever item or to find something in the room. And I think it definitely builds a team building spirit to collaboration, and I love that about the Star Wars games. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I have the new one on pre-order. I'm sad that it was delayed, but happy it was delayed because Star Wars Squadrons is here, and I have more time to play that now. Rather, I think it should have been. I think it was October 30th. I think it was coming out. Yeah, the new Star Wars game. But I'm glad it was delayed just for that purpose. But I mean, we all did it. We went over a friend's house, and you just watched people play single player games, and now they brought you into the fray. And I mean, even like Super Mario Galaxy, you could pick up a Wii controller and help somebody get, do something or whatever. Yeah, exactly. And, just banging them off enemies' heads like, oh, look at this idiot. And I was never into collaborative like multiplayer, but this game completely has changed the way like I look at collaborative multiplayer, because I'm not into like Rainbow Six. I'm not really into like I like Fortnite. I play a little bit. I play a little bit of Warzone. But when I play with my cousin, he's like saying words that I don't understand. I'm like, you need to speak English to me. I don't know what that means. He goes, I need you over here. And I'm like, just say that. And he's like, but we don't have time. And then I get killed. And I'm like, and that's probably why I'm not good at this game, because I don't know what you're talking about. But Squadrons is really, the collaboration is just outstanding. Yes.
And that's a huge difference between this and Battlefront. Battlefront, you're with 39 other people, and it's 40 people for themselves. I get like I threw my controller I don't know how many times at Battlefront 2, because it's like you have an objective. Why don't you just attack the objective? And they're just like, what are they doing? And I mean, you're with a whole bunch of people, but you're not collaborating at all.
Right.
This one, you definitely are.
So yeah.
So we kind of mentioned it earlier. Where do you guys see this genre going, both with VR and just Starfighter games in general? How do you see what do you see as the future for Star Wars in this genre of games?
No, I think Sean said it earlier. I mean, it's kind of the tip of the iceberg. I think we need more, I guess, more brains or more creative brains behind the gameplay. I think I don't know. The imagination maybe needs to ramp up a little bit, but I think tip of the iceberg is a good way of describing it. I think along with technology, a lot of the render engines that are coming out that are a lot faster and more powerful, you're able to do more things. I mean, talk about looking, looking behind you and seeing a ship that's behind you in the VR platform. I think, more of that is really great. I think we need to kind of maybe interact some of this other environmental stuff that really helps immerse the player in these games. I think that's key to keeping a lot of these games alive, even for a longer period of time. I think the compatibility and I guess the way that these games are built on with downloadable content, that it's new and fresh every time. I think they have to think about more things to be able for us to kind of enjoy these games. And not like I enjoy, games like Need for Speed, where it's the same thing, like for the last 13 years, but something that grows with you and your abilities. I think, if they do that, I think they'll be cool. They'll be good for the future. They'll be future proof.
Is that literally the only game you own, Ro? Is Need for Speed the only game you own? Because that's the only one you ever reference.
I know. Isn't that funny? I mean, it definitely it's not. I've got a lot of games, but Need for Speed, I guess it's like my mac and cheese. It's my cornbread. It's my comfort food.
It holds up. I still have a working PlayStation 2, and I still play Need for Speed Undercover.
Yeah, I've got that one too.
I play the hell out of it.
Yeah.
It holds up even these days.
Look at Grand Theft Auto 5, which came out in 2013, is still updating.
Yeah.
Still has a massive following, and for the longest time found itself in the top 10 in money over the months. Every month it comes out, top 10 games that were sold that month. Grand Theft Auto 5 has been in the top 10 for a long time. There's no since it came out. Yeah, and there's no reason, that's open world. That's a different genre. There's a lot more going on than say a Squadrons game, but there's no reason like an Old Republic game. The Star Wars: The Old Republic, which was a massive multiplayer online. I think they still service it. I think it's still
doing
its thing. It's been a while since I've played it, but that's the type of style I think Ro's talking about. That constant updating. This is a new season. That's really the trend right now. The new season, the new chapter, new stuff here. The map is completely different. Mm-hmm. Challenges, they get you to come back. They make their money through daily users. That's it. They want you to come back in the next day and log in and play for a few, because then they can sell that data to their sponsors, and say that we have every day, 1 million people see your ad or whatever they do, And so they're just looking to keep it going. But if they can make it work in Star Wars land, they made a vital mistake with Battlefront 2. People lost a lot of faith with EA. They got a little bit back with Jedi Fallen Order. DLC for Jedi, free DLC, by the way. They're like, listen, we messed up. You can have this. And now with Squadrons, they're starting to come back up into that elite gaming force that we expect, like since Force Unleashed, which was a good game, in my opinion. Yes. That was a good game.
I think where they did really well in this one, I think they deliberately set expectations low. On this one, even with the price tag, and under promise and over deliver, and I think they did that pretty well on this one. If anybody in the chat has any last minute questions for us, we'd be happy to answer about either Star Wars Squadrons or Star Wars video games or video gaming in general. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them.
Ro can speak to display drivers again if you want him to. He's really
slow. I'll say display drivers. You guys remember your very first video game, Star Wars or non-Star Wars? What do you guys remember?
Oh, I do actually. My dad made the decision that I was old enough and mature enough to play. What was it? Unreal Tournament. Very bloody, very visceral. And I mean that I still actually own that, and I still play that on my computer. It just never gets old.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a game that spawned a graphics engine that competes today.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Shadows of the Empire, I think for N64. I want to say I went back and played Empire Strikes Back on Super Nintendo, but I can't say it was my first time. But then Rogue Squadron was big, and then the GameCube version, whatever the second, the sequel to that, which wasn't as good, but it was updated graphics and it's wonderful. And then all the PC games, Jedi Outcast, Jedi Academy, Kyle Katarn's my man. If they don't bring him in canon, there will be hell to pay. I mean, he would just be awesome. Knights of the Old Republic, outstanding. Even the sequel was fine. It's agreeable. We can play it. It's fine. Amanda asks if they'll make a new Star Wars MMO. That's a great question.
I don't. They might, but I don't think they will, just because, for a long time, Knights of the Old Republic did very well. It had a great fan base, but they did something with it. They launched a certain update that changed a couple of the style of the game, and people just stopped playing it. So, I mean, they might make it. Do I think they will? Probably not.
I think that's a huge missed opportunity if they don't. I mean,
I agreed. I would love it.
I forget the one from a few years ago. I don't want to spend my time farming to build up to try to become a Jedi or anything, whatever that game was. But I mean, you literally have the whole universe to work with, whatever kind of characters you want to design for that. I think it'd be an easy money for them personally.
With the High Republic coming soon.
Yeah.
Do we get a High Republic based MMO, which would obviously be very, very similar to Old Republic in that kind of feel? But do they redesign it and remaster it and say, Knights of the Round Table style fantasy, Witcher, Fable, that kind of game, but also massive multiplayer where you can hang out in this game and do what you got to do. I mean, listen, they're setting up High Republic to be the next big thing. And I can see it. It might be 7 years from now, with the debut of the first High Republic movie, we will also have, the adjoining game that goes along with it. And by the way, it'll be updated every 6 months, but it's free to play, right? That would have to be the thing. It's free to play. But there's battle passes or whatever, and they're gonna somehow figure that out and whatever. So maybe.
I mean, they're pushing High Republic, books, comic books, everything else. I think that's a gold mine. And there's Jedi now. There's not going to be. Doesn't sound like there's going to be Sith too much. I mean, or if there are, I mean, at this point they're supposed to be hidden. So you don't have that, which you have in the SWTOR game. So there'd have to be different bad guys. But it's the height of the Jedi Order, so a lot of customization possibilities there.
Definitely agreed.
And there'll be dinosaurs in there.
I hope so.
And dinosaurs.
I saw that on a whiteboard.
Yep.
Just for the salty crew.
Yes, exactly. That's awesome.
Cool.
But we can't use that language here on this show. This is a family show, so we can't use that language. So how can people find you guys? Brad, where can people find you?
You can find me, Xbox Grenadier 117. Let's see. You can find the podcast, Force Losers, anywhere you can find a podcast, except for Podbean. They don't like us anymore. Other than that, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, just Force Losers. We're always willing to talk to people.
And what was your Xbox again?
Grenadier 117.
You have to spell that out for people just so they know how to
put it in the chat.
Yeah. How about you, Sean? How can people find you?
Well, MRC Tech on all the major socials, the MRC Tech, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. Looking for a podcast. it's Star Wars by the MRC Tech. It's very, very catchy. But just, I just want to thank everybody, from the Red 5 family down to the last follower on Twitter for just the wonderful envelopment of family that we're pushing here in this particular network. I enjoy being a part of it. I know sometimes I'm not active within our chat, mainly because I work, and I don't know what everybody else does, but apparently I have all the time in the world to chat. But I really enjoy the conversations, and I think we got a really good thing here. So, feel free to reach out to me if you ever want to talk some Star Wars. If I can find some time on a Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we can make it happen. So thanks, guys, for having me on here.
Yes.
That was the
Thanks
most natural plug I've ever heard.
Thank you very much. I'm a high school teacher. This is what I do. I entertain.
Are you virtual? Are you all virtual now, or do you have?
We're half and half. I got some kids. I got some kids in, some kids on the screen. The other time they're all home. I don't know what I prefer, but what I do know is that if you didn't have a dual monitor and you didn't really know how to work the tech, it's over. I mean, everybody's a first-year teacher this time around, and I run the technology at my school, and I'm like, don't you know how to change cameras and microphones? No? Well, this is what you're going to have to do, So it's been a bit of a struggle, but we're now into the smooth out period where, everybody's getting a little bit more comfortable with it, and we're doing the best we can. It's a career and technical school, so we're tech forward. We have to be.
Awesome. Of course, you can always find me on the PlayStation Network, Wookiees and Cream. I will always hashtag my PlayStation shares, Wookiees and Cream. I can't take credit for that. My daughter actually came up with that.
Great.
But it's the most people love it. They love to have Wookiees and Cream on their team, and they love to get killed by Wookiees and Cream because you can't be mad if you see that Wookiees and Cream.
You can't.
I did, however, my son thought it would be funny one time for us to change our player icon to just a woman's lips, and very seductive. And then I got lots of messages from that. So don't do that because he said I got a message from an anonymous, I imagine, gentleman who said if I brought the Wookiee, he would bring the cream. So I had to immediately change it. I don't know. That was the worst pickup line and I've come up with some bad ones, and that was probably the worst. So never set your icon to a pair of lips unless you want to have messages sent to you. But anyway, I digress. Wookiees and Cream on PlayStation Network. And Ro, tell everybody where they can find us because you know all that stuff and I don't.
So I think on PlayStation I am RoGaz2187. I think it is.
He says with question marks.
With the question mark, but,
on the Need for Speed Network, it just
Need for Speed Network.
Ro is user number 1 on the Need for Speed Network.
I don't want to say I'm old, but my social security number is 3. But obviously, we are the top half of the screen. We are the Scarif Scuttlebutt Podcast. You can find us at Scarif Podcast on all podcatchers, on Twitter, on iTunes. We love to talk and interact, and proud member of the Red 5 family. Sean, love the fact that you feel the way you do about the Red 5 Network, and I think we are all enjoying how amazing all the members are to each other, and it's just a great example of what Star Wars fandom can be like.
Indeed, friend. Indeed.
And it's free of charge.
Right.
Doesn't cost
And
a dime to join our network.
It's
Fly with us.
That's why we're poor.
That's why.
Amanda just dropped her name in the chat, so make sure you add her to your PlayStation and Xbox. I'm going to be doing that right now while I'm thinking of it. Exactly.
I'm just going to tweet and you guys find me because I'm lazy like that.
That's fair. That's fair.
But we seriously have to set up a date so we can we need to live stream some Red 5 Network.
I'm all over it. I would love to do that. Totally. And just for just for FYI, for those people out there, if you are on a console and you do want to connect with someone like me on PC, you have to have an EA ID. You have to link your PSN account or your Xbox account to an EA ID. I believe you should be able to use the same username, but without doing that, I just searched out Jedi Callie and Grenadier, and I can't find you on Origin because you probably don't have an EI ID. But we'll figure it out. I'm just letting you know that if that doesn't happen for you, that's a good little PSA for everybody.
Well said.
Dropping the knowledge.
I'm just saying.
Sounds good. So I think that does it for our little talk on Star Wars games. I want to thank you guys for, again, being patient with our technical difficulties, and everybody in the chat, thank you guys for joining us. I know a lot of you were here early and you stayed throughout. Thank you so much for chatting with us. A lot of our Red 5 and Scarif Scuttlebutt supporters, thank you guys so much for joining us. But yeah, until the next time, let's go around the room real fast and see what you guys have upcoming, so folks will be able to expect some content from you. Brad, Force Losers.
Oh, don't make me do this. So for the month of October, October is a big time for the Force Losers. We bring in a couple of old acquaintances, acquaintances of mine, but friends of Kevin's. And we talk about just Halloween. We talked favorite Halloween classic movies, both the good ones and the super campy ones that are so horrible that they loop back around and become good again. We're dropping 2 episodes. I'm going to drop one here sometime this week, and then the second half of that episode is going to be in a couple of weeks.
Nice. Sean, what you got going?
Okay. First off, Lysandro in the chat. He's one of my people. Welcome to the stream there, Lee. Thanks for being here. So just tonight, right after this, I got your information. Now I've got my own squadron's information going into a podcast episode tonight. It'll probably be 20-ish minutes. It'll link back to this wonderful live stream. That way we're all copacetic and it's awesome. And then coming down the line, I have a little sub-series in the library called We Have Spoken, where I bring on a couple of my buddies, Mike and Damien, and we talk all Mandalorian from episode reviews to predictions, and they're about an hour long. So they go weekly, for the duration of The Mandalorian. So looking forward to getting back into that and reading some more comics, building some more Star Wars Legos, and live streaming on Friday and Saturday nights. Come on out to see the hilarity of me dying many times in Squadrons and Brad yelling at me to a screen near you. It's going to be really great.
Awesome.
Judgment free zone right here. Judgment free.
There's judgment. You know this, Brad. There's absolute judgment.
All right.
And Ro, we're just gonna be talking about some librarians coming up, aren't we? That's about it. That's all we have coming up.
This week we dropped 2 episodes, which is really rare for us. It takes a while for us to kind of cut these episodes up, but we did 2 this week. We dropped on Tuesday. We dropped our Ahsoka episode. I hope you guys took a listen on that one. And yesterday, was it yesterday? No, today actually, we dropped the comic book episode. We talked a little bit about the recent comic books that everybody's enjoying. Dr. Aphra, we got the main Star Wars line. Bounty Hunters, what was the 4th one, Brad?
Darth Vader.
Darth Vader. Yeah, so we talk a little bit about all that, and we have a nice Sentry Mode presentation on that one, which was a lot of fun. Our Sentry Mode Q&A segment, which is always a lot of fun. Brad tried to stump me, but it was not to be.
Not today, sir.
Not today, sir.
Are we remembering the same Sentry Mode, good sir?
Yeah. So next, I think on Monday night, we'll be recording with our friend Rob from the Jedi Temple Archives, another Red 5 member. We're going to be talking about Jedi librarians and all the secrets that they keep. So stay tuned for that one. I think we'll record on Monday, drop it on Thursday for next week's Scuttlebutt drop.
Yep, and his swimsuit poster of Jocasta Nu that he has up on his wall. Rob's kind of strange like that, but
Yeah,
again, we're not judging. You do you.
Judgment-free zone, like you said, Rob. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you again. We'll definitely touch base and see if we can get something going and do a couple of missions. But thank you, everybody. I'm going to end
thanks
the
for having me.
broadcast, and
Thanks, everybody.
that's the Scuttlebutt.